we are very happy to have here with us Rita Schwartzman today. We're gonna do the second part of the workshop on discovering your creative flow through Neuroart. We have the recording from the first part, and I know that Rita is gonna go over some of the concepts for those of you who have missed our first webinar. Before we begin, I wanted to go over some housekeeping items. So we're going to start with the presentation, and then Rita is going to go over how the actual drawing technique. During that time, we're going to keep all of you muted, and after you could, during that time, if you have a question, you could type it in the chat, or just save it for the Q&A part that is going to be in the end of the session. All right, so I just wanted to quickly introduce Rita. She is she's a wonderful woman, first of all, and having known her for a while now and seeing all the developments and all the amazing changes that she's made in her life really inspires you to ask yourself, so what has she done to achieve all of that? And you know, you have a very like a fascinating journey that you've made that I was a witness of. But on top of all that, do you want to put the next slide?
Sure.
So first of all, she is a Neurographica specialist and instructor, and you all are going to see it today. She's also president of Female Freedom and Spirituality Corporation, which is a Marna sanctuary, which has also have a very active community, both online and in person. She's an owner of Marna Neuroart School, and she's doing amazing work with a lot of women and men who are interested in Neuroart specifically. And besides all of that, she's a very good friend and supporter of us and Neurographica Art School, and we're very, very happy for this partnership, and very, very happy to have you here today, Ritulia. So I think that's it, and I'll just turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mariasha, for such a nice introduction. All right, welcome everyone. I'm happy to see you here. That I really appreciate today is a working day, and you made an effort to come. And the people who's going to be watching and recording, for you as well. I have a great appreciation to everyone who is interested in Neurographica, a breakthrough method for unlocking the creative flow, for achieving your goals, for making your life totally different in a way that it brings back childhood wonder and happiness. Here, I'm just giving you some highlights on what Neurographica is. It is a pretty young method that was created by Russian psychologist, architect, and also he's got a PhD in philosophy, Pavel Piskarev. He was born in Russia, and he lived for a while in Israel, Switzerland, and also created another branch in Moscow, Russia as well. What's interesting about this method is that it's grown with the crazy speed. When he started in 2014, he had only few followers, and now his community is over 13,000 people, and you know, it's growing and growing with really crazy proportion. And I believe it's because Neurographica is something totally fresh, new. Nobody knows about it, but once people get involved and start learning, they recognize benefits, and there is no way back to another way of drawing after that. So I should say that Neurographic is an artistic approach to transforming ourselves and the world. And it also the art of positive change. And why I'm saying that is because it utilizes neuroscience, it utilizes bionics, gestalt therapy, NLP, analytical coaching, and more. So it is based on psychology and philosophy. And also, what I personally love about Neurographica the most, that it is a process work. When I say process work, we don't know what to expect to look like when we start. So that's what makes it very much fascinating. So let's answer the questions. Why Neurographica? Why not something else? Talk about the childhood wonder. We used to be kids. We used to draw all over the place, on the ground, on piece of paper, everywhere. When we mature, we stop drawing. And why? Because things in life that we forget about it. So Neurographica brings back that childhood excitement. It also provides the tools for self-empowerment. We're going to talk about this today specifically. Also, based on neuro research, Neurographica helps to link our consciousness and subconsciousness together by activating connections between our brain cells, neurons. And that offers the the infinite source of energy and creativity. It helps us to make right decisions. It makes us to grow professionally, personally. And most important for me, what Neurographica did, it created a totally new approach to my project, operation. It helped me out in my career. It helped me out to deal with difficult situations with people and so forth. No drawing skills are required, which is also important because some people get scared that they would need to start drawing out of blue. And what I hear from my students, oh my God, I have not been drawing for ages. I don't know even how to hold a pencil or marker. Here it's so simple and everything flows that there's nothing to worry about at all. All right, so why don't today is a lesson on the ABC of neurographics, all right? And we usually start with the main component of neurographic alphabet, which is neurographic line, or sometimes we call it neuroline. It is the line, and it may sound a little bit strange to you, but you will see what it means when we're going to start practical exercise on that. Neuroline is the line that never repeats itself and moves to the unexpected direction. You know, for some people it really sounds really strange, but the interesting fact about this type of line, that everything is in nature looks like that. If you look at the crown of the tree, if you look at the rivers, if you look at the roads on through the Google Earth and so forth, all you see is the neural lines. You don't see straight lines. Straight lines don't exist in nature. Even crystals do not have straight lines. So basically what we do when we draw neural line, we're going back to the nature. We relax ourselves from human-made straight line. If you look at our buildings, if you look at the houses, it's all man-made, and those objects have straight lines, right? So when we all of a sudden getting out from our own creation and go back to nature, we feel so much excitement. And you'll see, when you're going to start drawing, you will share this excitement with me. Another component of neurographic is a circle. And circle is the most important figure after the line. Why? Because it's a holistic figure. For ones who studied sacral geometry, know that all other geometrical shapes fit into the circle. Triangles, squares, and so forth. And circles create the sense of harmony, peace, and wisdom, and they're also a source of energy. Think about it. All planets have a circle shape. So the human eggs and so forth. So if you think about circle, it's a really a holy kind of spirit in that. The next figure is triangle. Triangles, they have kind of like a dual meaning. It is always a movement, a leadership, it's an enhancement, but it can also indicate a conflict, aggression, sometimes even sarcasm. And we would need to be very careful when we draw triangles so we're not misusing this figure. The next figure is square, and square usually emphasizes stability, a fundamental belief, certainty, something that we can lean on, something that gives us the sense of security. And now I just want to show you my artwork. The whole artwork was created by using these 4 elements that we just covered. The lines, the triangles, the circles, the square, and everything was just colored. The colors were selected intuitively. So everything what you see here is just a pure art through this amazing work. So I also wanted to share you with some other artwork that I created, not necessarily only using those elements, but just to give you an idea how the Neuroart can look like. Here I was drawing left and right brain, and that's how it looks to me. It's basically a reflection of my left and right brain. I was trying to balance it with no success. Usually when we do work and we're not able to achieve what we desire, then we create several drawings and we call it case. And usually after the 3rd or 4th drawing, you can achieve what you need. This is another one. It's just the sense of spring. It is an artwork. Here I was trying to utilize tarot cards in order to create artwork using neurolines and other shapes. And here's another one. This is my passion. I really love to draw some ancient gods, Hindu gods. Here you could see Ganesha, you could see Buddha, and you could see Chinese Bodhisattva, Guanyin. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch my camera to the practical exercise that we're gonna be all doing together. And I hope you have some paper and some markers. If you don't, I'll wait for you a minute or so you could prepare yourself. And now we are switching to the drawing pad. Okay, so you see I only have few things with me. I don't need to carry the whole set of markers or pencils. So easy. You can always take it with you anywhere you go, even on the train, and just do some artwork there. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna take paper and divide it into 3 portions, 3 pieces, just like that. It's okay if one is smaller or bigger than another, it doesn't matter. It can go horizontal or it can go vertical, however you want to place your paper. It can go like this or can go like that, okay? So now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with drawing circles, okay? And in the beginning, it might seem very difficult to draw a circle. Like, God, I need a compass to draw it, but it's okay. There's nothing to worry about. We're not gonna show it to anyone. It's just for us, right? And with practice, believe it or not, your circle is gonna get better, better, and better. So let's just think about something you really would like to achieve in the nearest future. Like, I'm going to be using my examples because when we're teaching, we're basically using our personal examples to inspire people. So for me, number 1, I'm working on a huge project for establishing Neurographica school in US. It's getting popular in Europe, but nobody knows about it in US. And I am a part of the big team of 15 people who's going to be building the school here in New York. And this is the only thing that I can really think about at this point. So when I would draw something like that, and I'm thinking about the school, I'm thinking about what do I need for my school, right? And I would start basically somewhere here on the first part right here. I would draw the first circle, and you think about your project, what you are trying to achieve. Maybe you are trying to write an article, or you want to get to a conference somewhere, or you thinking about something that is important to you that you are planning in the nearest future, right? So I draw the circle and I'm going to put school. You can actually write on top of that what it is. So, all right, I need a school. And what else I need here? I need my colleagues. I need my partners in crime. And I already mentioned there are 15 of them. And then they are my partners. You think about what you need for your project, right? Or for an idea, maybe it's just a vacation. All right, if it's a vacation, then you need some tickets, you need a place to go, you maybe need to bring friends together and so forth. It can be something very, very simple. I'm using project because it's just so close to me at this point. So I'm going to put partners. Okay, I'm going to just write it right on top. Then what else I need? I need financial support. So probably I would need to find investors. And I hope you draw with me together investors, right? Now I'm thinking again, what else I may need? I may need maybe a studio where we can teach in person. Here's another circle, studio. So basically what I'm doing right now, I'm taking a building blocks and I'm laying them out here. Studio, a website, and look, my circles can actually cross. Look, website is so important to me because I really want to teach online the most. That's why it's bigger than anything else. Website. Okay, then what else I need? I need my students. I need people who would be interested in my work. Students. Oh my God, students took the most of the space here. Right, because students are the most important people. Without students, I'm not going to have anybody to teach. And there would be no school. And just notice how I draw my circle. If it's not perfectly shaped, I can always draw over it and make it more looking like a circle, not like an oval, right? And that's the idea. So what else I may need here? I may need support from my family. Let me just put it here. And at this, it doesn't matter really where you're going to draw the circles, as long as you drew them. All right, so for now, I guess that would be enough for me to complete my first part of the drawing. Now, we already, here I laid out everything what I need. I need my school, I need my partners, I need my website, I need my studio, my family, I need investors, and I need my students. Okay, now we need to get to the action part. What do I need to do in order to achieve all of this, right? I need to develop leadership skills. And when we're talking about verbs and actions, we're using triangles. So my first triangle, because I want to be on a leadership team of the school, would be develop leadership skills or improve my leadership skills. Okay, that would be my first triangle, and I call it leadership. So another thing that I would need to do, I need to get more organized. I need to organize my work because I work full time. I'm also a mother and a wife. So I need to organize my everyday life in order to achieve my goal. And my goal is huge. So I really need to get more organized. What else do I need? I need to bring people together. I need to bring people together. The ones who can help me out, who can support me. It could be organization like Antinanka. I know Antinanka supports me, and I do as well. But I need more people like Olga Sher and Mariana and other people who are willing to support me. Bring people together. Let me just write it down. Bring people together. And another triangle I'm going to draw is just to get more time to exercise, because I think it's very important. I was lacking exercise lately because I was drunk too much, I guess. So I need to go back to gym, exercise, and get more energy for everything that I need to do. And what else I need? You know, I should have fun, right? It's not all about just work, work, work. Yes, I want to achieve my goal, but I want to have fun as well. I want it to be nice and easy and beautiful, so it brings joy, right? Because then otherwise, why I'm doing it is it is a creative work. If I'm not getting enough of joy and happiness after all of this effort, it doesn't make sense to me. Have fun. And just, you know, for people with kids, right? I just want to bring your attention. If you have small children, here's what you could do. You could do the same project with your kids. Let's say your kid has a project in school, or if your kid is going to a summer camp, right? Same thing, you could just draw all the circles. Summer camp, friends, counselors, good camping condition, and so forth, right? Lots of toys, lots of activities here. And then in triangular mode, you could say play games, right? Learn something new, ride the horse, or something like that, right? You see how easy it is to shift between our serious adult business and going back to the childhood, and encourage our kids to use this modality for laying out something that they really want to achieve in the nearest future. All right, so we are done with triangles. Now we're going to go to our last part of the paper, and we're going to draw squares. And what is square, right? Square is stability. Square is something that we really need in life, because what it gives us, and I'm going to put my first square, right? First of all, we need good health, right? Good health. It's important. If I don't have a good health, then I can't achieve anything. And, you know, for me, good health is a square, because it's something, it's really fundamental, something that empowers me to do everything in life. Another square I'd like to draw is a financial stability. Without financial stability, all my projects are not going to be successful, because I would be thinking about how I'm going to feed my family. And that's not what I want to think about. I really want to have everything in place and taken care of, so I don't have to think about it. So I would put financial stability. What else empowers me here? Fundamentally, education, right? I'm getting enough education right now. I'm taking lots of classes, because I really want to be successful in what I'm going to be teaching, and I want to be up to date. I already said that Neurographica is a pretty new method. It was created in 2014, and since this time, it had been developed throughout all these years, and now we are right to something totally magnificent, and who knows what's going to happen in the next year. It may double. The community may double. The classes may double, so I need to keep up with this education. All right, so I think, you know, you can draw as many as you want. You can add more triangle circles, you can add more of squares, and so forth, right? So now what we need to do? We need to do something that we call rounding. in Neurographica, then I have crossing lines or crossing figures and so forth. What we need to do, we need to use the rounding method. We talked about this in our first class, but I just want to go over this because I think it's very important that you watch what I'm doing. You see, like what I'm doing, I'm almost drawing the circle on the points of connection between the figures, but I'm not drawing it. I'm just drawing the part of it. I hope you could see what I'm doing clearly. So basically what you need to do, you really need to, by rounding, you really need to connect everything that's crossing, because the crossing itself creates a conflict, right? And why I'm saying that, because the crossing itself creates a triangle, a point. You see, like right here, point. If you remember when we talked about triangles, we said triangles have both positive and negative connotation. It could be an action in a positive way, but it could also cause destruction in a positive way. So we want to avoid this. That's why we round everything here in order to bring back the harmony and provide the connectivity between subjects. I hope you could see. I'm going to bring it closer to the camera so it's visible to you. Right here, guys, whoever's watching me and people who's going to be watching online in the recording, that's how it should look like. All right, so we would need to connect all the crossings by using this technique. And usually in Neurographica, we try to circle or round as many crossings as possible until we feel like, all right, we're done. I guess it's enough. With triangles, it's interesting. You see those points? Here's what we can do, and I'm going to show you closer. We really don't want to leave these points just like that, because they're going to start bothering us. You know, when you gain more experience in Neurographica, you will see that those points, sometimes they're poking you. Like you're looking at them and you're like, oh, I almost physically see the impact on myself. And whoever's watching me, guys, please take a look. I brought it closer to the camera just to show you how it looks like when you round the points. And all points need to be rounded, just like that. And also the crossings between triangles need to be rounded. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. Make sure all sharp points are rounded from inside, like I'm doing it right now. You know, when you're not in rush, when you are somewhere on a plane and you don't have much to do, it can be used as a meditative practice, right? You could draw circles and other shapes and so forth, and just do it slow, no rush. You really want to relax into this practice in order to feel, right, the surrounding effect, because it requires you to be relaxed, no rush. We have limited time here, so I'm actually a little bit rushing in order to give you everything that I like to give you. But on your own, you can do this practice anytime and at any speed. You see, it already starts looking like art. It doesn't look like just pure geometrical figure anymore. We can also like see like how circles are going to surface here. When we round things, we are seeing circles in those roundings. Like this one, let me show you. Here, we see the circle. You see that one? Little guy here, cute. Okay, let's continue. And same thing we're going to be doing with our squares. Squares also have sharp points, so we would need to round them as well. And we would also need to round the corners of those squares. And also all the crossings between them. Here, I don't have much, but right here. I hope everyone is doing fine. You guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so if you need more time, please take another minute to complete. I'm going fast because I'm so used to this and I'm doing it every day, basically. I can't live without at least one drawing a day. All right, so that's how our figures look like. Now, we need to connect this whole story together. And why I'm saying story? Because we really see a story here. What am I saying here? I'm saying that I do have my plans for creating a school, and I laid out all the components of the school. Also, I laid out all the actions that I need to take to make it happen. Okay. And then the last, I emphasize everything what I need, or my foundation, in order to accomplish what I want. And that makes it a story. But now everything looks like they don't belong to each other because they are parts of each bucket, like circles in one bucket, triangles are in another bucket, and squares are in another bucket. The way I'm going to connect it, I'm going to use our neurographic line. If you remember the first letter in the quotes that we talked about is the neurographic line, a specific line that doesn't repeat itself and moves to the direction that we don't expect it to move. So when we start drawing, and we can start drawing from anywhere, just watch me first. You see how my line looks like? It moves like a snake. It doesn't have any pattern. It doesn't look like anything that you've seen. It is, I mean, you've seen it in the nature, but not something you've seen in the human-made creations, unless an artist is a true artist and using some natural lines in his or her drawings or art. So I don't know where it's going to end. If it goes too much to the right, I'm going to push it to the left and vice versa. Start drawing with me. Just have a feeling of this beautiful line. You're going to get into the flow. And you don't have to go as fast as I do because I already know what it is. For you, it's something new. I suggest you relax into this. But draw with the control movement. Don't just let your hand to flow anywhere, right? What I'm saying by control, you start movement, and then you go too much to the left, and you push it to the right. And it has to be curvy with no points, right? And, you know, wherever it's going to end, it's going to end. It's going to find its own path. Let me show you closer how it looks like. You see that? Like rivers, like roads when you look at them at Google Earth. Just like that. So easy. Like a crown of a tree. And just draw about 5, 6 of them, just to get a feeling. And, you know, all comes with practice. Don't feel panicked that you're not able to draw or you will never be able to draw. But that's what people tell me all the time. And people who are telling me this, they end up to be the best artists usually. Why? Because they make an effort and they show great results at the end. All right. So I created drew some of the lines, and now I have to do the same thing. I need to round all the crossings everywhere. And watch what's going on while you're doing this. Like some creative ideas may come to your head all of the sudden. Maybe not from the first time when you draw this, but if you will use it in your everyday life, I'm pretty sure you will start getting creative ideas during this process. It's nice not to get distracted by kids or animals during this process, because you get into the flow. I don't know if you read the book by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi called Flow. So that's exactly what happens to us. When we get into this practice and start doing it on everyday basis, we get into this mysterious flow where things or circles, our triangles, all connected together with this line, creates very unique pattern. Everyone has their own style in Neuroart. Everyone. You will create your own as well. So what we'd like to do, if you see some points sticking out, we really want to connect them to the end of the paper. In Neurographica, we say that the paper doesn't have the limitation for our drawing because the lines can be extended anywhere beyond the paper. But all sticking points, they need to be anchored somewhere. So we're not seeing them being by themselves, because they can create some unwanted sensation of being poked. Some people start getting like body symptoms. They can get hot, they can get cold. I've seen that as well with my students. All of a sudden, they're getting body sensation. But this is okay because something's shifting in our brain, right? And it creates some side effects. Some pleasant, some unpleasant, but we know them and we continue with our work. You know what to expect. We are rewiring our brains. Of course, it's a hard work that goes on behind the scenes. So we continue rounding because rounding is very important in this work. It connects all the crossings, it connects all components of the drawing. We don't have to, in this practice, we don't have to round everything, but as soon as we feel like we are whole, that the drawing started kind of like bring all the components together, and we see it's happening here. For the lines, you see that? The components are no longer separate from each other. They're all connected for this mysterious neurographic lines. So once we've done with that, then we can start coloring. And when you use it in everyday practice, you will notice you can get so much relaxed through this as well. Let's say if you go to Central Park or if you sit by the ocean, you can meditate first and then think about your dreams, think about your projects, your desires. Meeting a new partner is a great thing to think about if you're single. And if you're married, maybe you want children and so forth. Something that you would like to get in life. And then just start laying it out, as simple as we did today. All right, so once we rounded enough, we can start coloring. And this is really a fun part. I love it because it really brings me back to my childhood so much. And look, you don't have to color the entire thing. You just can color components, and I'm going to be showing you how to do it. Of course, you can go and just color each shape separate, and then you're going to be ending up with geometrical figures only. But you can create some other shapes than just geometrical figures. Look what I'm doing. I'm coloring inside of my lines because I think it's going to create some unique shape for me. And for this, you could use crayons. You could use some watercolor pencils. You know why I'm saying watercolors? Because you may, if you would like to create some watercolor effect, you could do that with adding some water on top of them. And we are teaching our students how to do it. Some people using highlighters for this type of work. I personally prefer using pencils. And you see what I'm doing? I'm creating big figures. The figures that you would not see otherwise if you would just leave it as is. Here I'm coloring some new shapes with the color. And I do it randomly. I don't have a rule on how to do it. I do it randomly, intuitively. And you know, really what I love about Neurographica, once you colored it, guess what? You can draw more right on top of this and color more and color more and color more. You can make an endless project. Some people like to use gold on top or white marker on top to make it more alive, more like 3D looking. Welcome, you could do that as well. If you're an artist and really want to create some powerful art, why not? You could do that. At the end, I'm going to show you some of my work. You know, it requires more time, of course, to complete this whole drawing, and you can finish it after our class. But I hope you have fun, because it's most important. If you're not having fun, if it turns into suffering, then we don't need to do this type of work. It really is going to only confuse us, and it's not going to bring any benefits to us. You see, like, not necessarily to really color everything. As long as you can connect all the parts together, you are good. But for artistic purpose, some artists may argue with me. They would say, oh, well, it doesn't look that artsy for me. Fine. You know, it just requires more time to create an artwork. You know, and I can even use pencils to color my lines somewhere, like if I want to really emphasize them. All right, so for me, it's most important to show you the concept, right? So you could do home, anything that you wish to create together, spend some time. It's going to really open up your creative vision. Because what are we doing here? We're creating some abstract objects. Think about Miro. Think about Picasso. Think about all these great artists that utilized abstract drawings. And for some people, they look at this, they say, oh, it looks like children's drawing. But guess what? Those paintings are sold and they're extremely expensive. And who knows, maybe you're going to be the next Miro. We don't know. With this work, it's always a surprise to us what we can discover. All right, so we can continue with this and coloring and coloring. I just want to show you some of my work that I've done, and some of them I've done in my classes, some of them I prepared for you. So here, let me just remove what I've been doing so far so I could show you my work to inspire you to do your work. Black and white. I hope you could see it. Yes, it should be visible. Black and white, only using shapes. Here, I just want to explain something to you. You see the circle, and there are a bunch of lines around it. We're using neurographic lines in order to make objects more visible, to enlarge them and make them look very powerful. So what we do, we use neurographic lines, and we draw it over and over and over and over the object. And here we use that as well, and here we use that as well. So line can be a single, or it could have several components in that. Okay, so it's a black and white. I haven't colored it on purpose just to show you. And this drawing, it only uses elements that we discussed today. You could see a square, circle, triangle, and a line, right? It's just arranged in a different way. So here's another example of my project. You see that? Again, we see a triangle, circle, there must be here, square here, and every object on this drawing has a writing inside or on top of this. So here I was working on my Qigong practice that I really want to establish on a daily basis. So I've added all the components, I've added all the benefits that can bring me. I've added this huge triangle that actually emphasizes immortality for me, because that's why it's important for me to exercise to keep myself healthy and young looking and really feel great and being able to accomplish my project. Here's another one. It's also about project. What it's done here, the piece of paper is divided into 4 quadrants, and each quadrant represents certain activity. And you see more triangles in this quadrant. It's because there are more actions happening here, right? I'm just showing an example so you see what kind of art you can create yourself. Here's another example. You see how cool it is, right? All the colors that you select, you're creating just beautiful artwork. It could be used as, you know, if that would be much larger, I would probably put it on my wall. Why not? It looks good. Here's another one. Has a different feeling, only circles. But look, even with just circles, you can create an artwork. Using all these beautiful colors together, putting the shapes together, lines together, it all comes out to this. It's another set of circles. Different feeling, different shape, different media is used. Here I used, those are not pencils, they are some other media. I just can't remember right now. I think I used a dry brush to draw this, not to draw, but to provide the painting. And here's another, and I want to show you something bigger, you know, for people who study sacred geometry. This is Thor, right? And then around Thor, I drew some circles, some planets, some spirals, and so forth, colored it, and then created this beautiful artwork, and it gave me a lot of energy. And the last one is another artwork. I was kind of going through Grove's perinatal matrices, where I worked through the time when I was still in my mother's tummy, and all the feelings and sensations that I had, and also my wish fulfilling here on top of the drawing that I would like to get once I would get out from my mother's tummy. So it's a different algorithm, but still, you know, as an artwork, I think it looks very pretty, you know, but it requires time. And don't worry, you can draw even better, much better. I've seen drawings, fantastic, really better than mine, much better than mine. And that would conclude our lecture and our presentation and our exercise. I'm going to go back to the webcam. Welcome back. And we'll be happy to answer all your questions. Alrighty.
We really appreciate your time and all of the effort.
Thank you.
Really, really great material. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Mariana.
Thank you so much, Vitulia. Thank you.
Me tonight. Thank you so much. I'll see you again, I hope. Bye
Have
now.
a nice evening, everyone. Sweet dreams.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.